My name is Freddy Carrillo. I work for National Seating and Mobility, Branch 11 in Anaheim, California.
And what do you do for the branch?
Customer service. I do a lot of the scheduling of appointments for the Kaiser members. Before working in SM, I worked in the wheelchair industry, and I knew Tish because she was our quickie wheelchair rep back in the 90s. So that's how I got acquainted with the position here.
What kind of wheelchair are you in?
I'm using Colors Zephyr. I've had this chair for a while. It's my favorite chair. I believe I've had like 6 wheelchairs.
What kind of cushion do you use?
I use a Rojo Nexus. That cushion works the best for me. It's got good stability and it provides the pressure relief that I need.
And how many hours a day do you spend in your chair?
Oh boy, almost most of the day. A good, 16 hours or yeah. I get up at 6 and I usually go to bed at 10. So yeah, I'm in my chair most of the day.
How long have you been in your chair?
I've been paralyzed from the waist down, T12, for 26 years. I was in a car accident. I was 18, about 3 weeks shy of my 19th birthday, and with some friends, young teenagers, not, doing, not choosing wise decisions, and we were in an accident in this pretty windy road in South Orange County called Ortega Highway. It's between San Capistrano and Lake Elsinore. And so we went off an embankment and rolled, and I was behind the driver, and he and I took most of the impact. And I got the most serious of the injuries, being paralyzed from the waist down.
Were you wearing a seatbelt?
Yes, but it was a lap belt only. So, it was an old car, it was a Toyota Corolla from the 70s, so it was lap belt only. So, that's, they changed that actually. Even in the 80s, all the cars were starting to have shoulder harnesses because they were finding out that the lap belts, they don't help, by themselves.
You have a T12 injury, and what does that mean?
T12 is on the spinal cord. It's around the waist, so I'm just paralyzed from the waist down.
And how did they tell you would never walk again? Or how did you find out?
Yeah, I think it was like the day after, it was in the evening. They rushed me to the emergency room, and they had to do, emergency surgery. And then the next day, that doctor came in with my mom and my sister and my grandma there, and told me how severe my injury was, and told me that, I wouldn't walk again.
Did you have any feeling in your legs at that time?
No feeling. Yeah, I knew it was serious. I knew it was pretty serious, and so no feeling. And when the accident happened, when the car stopped rolling, there was a lot of fumes and a little smoke. So I was afraid that the car was going to go in flames, and I pulled myself out of the car, and I knew right there that's one of the worst things you could do after that you think that you have spinal injuries. You're supposed to stay still. Yeah. But I had to do something, so I know that made it worse. I tore nerves on the spinal cord itself.
What was the hardest part of adjusting to your injuries?
Just the simple things, just going to the bathroom, being able to reach things and do things for yourself, especially when you're injured. You're in this brace. They call that Kydex brace, so because they want to keep you from moving too much, let the spine heal. So you're very limited in what you can do. Everyone's got to do something for you. And then one of the things that I really started feeling right away was, before I got hurt, since I was 10 years old, I was really involved with surfing and skateboarding. And then knowing that I couldn't do that anymore, and not having that feeling, because when you do those two things, those two activities, there's a feeling that you get from it, a stoke that nothing else can replace it. So that was a big loss those first 4 years, after I got hurt. Well, after the 4 years, after it took me a while to recover, since I did injure my spine severely. After I started healing, I started driving again, started working, and then, but one of the first things, with a group of my good friends that I surfed and skateboarded with, they got into snowboarding. and they were up in Big Bear, and they saw the adaptive ski school that just opened like the year before. So they took me up, and I got hooked. Because you know, riding in the snow is the same feeling as surfing and skating. And then I got into the monoski about I think it was 3 years after I got hurt.
And so you took an adaptive ski course?
Yes, an adaptive ski school up in Big Bear, USARC, United States Adaptive Recreational Center, and they taught me everything. And then from there, I just got the itch, and you know, I was able to progress where I could ski on my own. I can get on the lift on and off by myself, and then I got my own equipment. And then by '96, I've had a season pass ever since, and haven't missed a season.
That's cool. So skating is obviously off the books, right? You skate every day.
Yeah, well, you know what? I still, you know, because there's been the chair skating, and I do roll around in my local skate park, the Etney Skate Park in Lake Forest, which is one of the best skate parks. And there's a couple areas that I drop in, and through the street course, I can drop in, do some carves, and even in this bowl area, I can drop in and do some carves on corners. And I'm not doing the crazy tricks like some of the kids do, you know, and chairs, but I can still go in there and carve, and I love that because I used to love doing that, you know, before I got hurt.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And surfing is a pretty big one for you these days.
Oh yes. So after I got hurt, I went 11 years without surfing. You know, right away I did go in the ocean a couple times with my friends. They put me on a board, on a longboard, but it was just very awkward. I was still, you know, it just wasn't right. And there was no such thing as adaptive surfing then, you know, in the early 90s. And then about 11 years after I got hurt, I was up skiing. Took one of my good friends, Eugene Roberts. He's a really good surfer, skateboarder, and snowboarder. So we were up there riding, and, you know, he was, you know, impressed with my riding and everything, and he goes, you know what, Freddie, we can get you back in the water. And I'm all, yeah. And he goes, there's these boards called wave skis. So you sit on them, so it's shaped like a surfboard, so it rides just like a surfboard, but it's like a kayak because you're sitting in that position, and you have a surf paddle, but you sit on top of it, not inside like a kayak, and I told him at that time, you know, I've seen them before. I was wondering if that would work, but I wasn't sure. And then he proceeded to tell me that his dad does that, and Gene Robertson, that he rides these wave skis made from a well-known surfboard manufacturer in South Orange County called Steve Bainey of Infinity Surfboards. And I grew up, you know, I've had a few of boards from his shop since I was a kid. So once he said that, I'm all, I'll give this a try. And so one day we took me down to the beach, and they had a two-person wave ski, and they put me on there with his dad. And next time I went, I got on a single board, and that was it. That was a done deal. And it was pretty cool. Like the third time I was on one, it was a pretty big day, and I was just trying to get out, and I was just kept getting smashed. And but it was just perfect. Summertime, perfect south swell, perfect A-frames coming through, and I go, I gotta get out there. And somehow I made it out. And I only caught 4 waves, but there were some of the, you know, insane waves that I've ridden, and I couldn't believe that I was paralyzed in doing it. And so ever since then, that was it. And we started developing, better boards that work better for us and are more stable, and a special foam brace that keeps my legs in a position so they're not out there, and I could use that to balance myself, hold myself up. And so we were, you know, able to develop where now it's, and adaptive surfing is an actual sport, and it's being, considered, it's actually, surfing has been picked for the Olympics for 2020 in Tokyo, and there will be an adaptive division for the Paralympics.
That's incredible. So this year was the first year they held the...
Yes, the Adaptive World Surfing Championships. So the International Surfing Association, they're the ones that are responsible to get surfing to the Olympics. They're the main organization for surfing around the world. They have various contests throughout the year. They had the first Adaptive World Surfing Championships in La Jolla Shores, California, this past September, at the end of September.
And you competed in that?
Yes, I did, and actually was chosen to be on Team USA, and they called our division the Upright Division, and so that was such an honor to be surfing for Team USA for Surfing America. That's the main organization for amateur surfing here in the United States. There were just a little over 70 adaptive surfers from 18 countries participated in this event. 2 days of competition, and so I had a few heats to work your way up. So you know, my first couple heats, you know, I actually won my first couple heats, and I made it into the semifinal, and I was just I was pretty stoked on it because there's so many good surfers from Hawaii, from Brazil, from Chile, and of course the rest of my teammates in the U.S. We had the most in that division, and yeah, so I made it to the semifinal, and that was pretty neat too, because I knew for the semifinals it was the top two move into the final. So there's two semis, top two move into the four-man final. And in the semis, I guess I was sitting in third the whole time, and 30 seconds to go. And in the last minute, there really no waves were coming, and me and my three other competitors were sitting there, and then a nice little wave just came through, and I was the one closest to it. And I got it and rode it all the way in with just a couple little maneuvers, and it got me into the final. So
wow.
That was kind of neat. All my friends at the beach and family, they were freaking out, 30 seconds to go, and then I catch that, and they all knew that was gonna get me through.
Yeah, brother. Thank you, Charlie. Nothing but sportsmanship out there. Everyone was so rad. Felipe let you have that wave.
Hey, Sean, let me have your jersey. I'll go get rid of him.
Looks like I made it through the final.
Yes, you did.
I made it through the final.
Yes, you did.
I can't believe it.
I told you. I told you.
Wow. How many countries competed total?
18 countries from all over, from France. We had people from Norway, Denmark, South Africa, Brazil, Chile. Let's see here, and Australia is from all over, and then and Hawaii. And surfing, that's a thing too, because Hawaii, they're the founders of surfing. So. And these kind of contests, international contests, Hawaii is always considered their own entity. So I had my Hawaiian, and those are good friends of mine actually. So it was good to compete against Team Hawaii. And for the wave skiing, the adaptive wave skiing that I've been doing for the last 15 years, they consider me, I'm the pioneer. I was the first one, fully paralyzed person to be doing that. So. All the guys, I'm the godfather of that, I'm the pioneer. So, and a lot of these guys found out about this surfing, a few years after 2000 from seeing me on the Infinity website site, seeing me surf.
How many people competed in the final?
Yeah, in our fight, 4 people.
4 people.
So 4 people.
And you placed 4th.
Yes, I ended up with 4th.
Man, that's cool.
And but I was happy. I was doing my best, trying to get in the finals. It wasn't the best conditions. The wind came up. The waves were being a little tricky. Not breaking as well as earlier in the day. And but I was happy with my performance. I did my best, and but still proud that the 4 of us. 3 of us were American, and we ended up with the silver. My friends got the silver and the bronze. Jeff Munson got the silver. Chris Oberly, one of my good friends and teammate, he got the bronze. Jeff Munson got the silver, and I got the copper for 4th place.
Nice.
And then the champion was Felipe from Brazil, an amazing surfer.
And so 2020, the Olympics?
That's what I'm going to shoot for. I'm going to keep competing in the local WSA Western Surfing Association, so I can get a good ranking in there, and then participate in the Surfing America Championship, and then from that will, depending on my placement in that in the summer, that will determine if I get back on Team USA to represent for the World Championship. So I'm going to be doing this every year. So I'm going to keep going for that, and hopefully I can roll through all the way to 2020.